Hello everyone, welcome back. In my last video, I showed you how to automate a simple social media content workflow. I even integrated ChatGPT into the workflow. In today's video, however, I will be diving a bit further into automating your workflows using ChatGPT. If you've ever found integrating AI models into your workflow challenging or frustrating, this video is for you. Integrating AI models into your workflow can feel a bit tricky, especially when you're just starting out. But not to worry, I will walk you through the process step by step, showing you how to integrate AI into your workflow. At the end of the video, you will feel more comfortable using AI in your scenarios. First, I will show you how to connect ChatGPT to make.com with your API key and organization ID. This is the foundation of everything you're going to be doing. Next, we will explore the different ChatGPT models available in make.com. I will explain what each model does and how to choose the right one for your workflow. Then we will delve into billing. I will show you how you are billed for using ChatGPT, and I will also show you how to optimize your costs while using ChatGPT. That way, you scale your automation without breaking the bank. Finally, we'll look at the different roles available to you in ChatGPT on make.com. By the end of this video, you feel more confident using ChatGPT in your workflow to save time, reduce stress, and automate repetitive tasks. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss future tutorials in AI automation. Here we have a new scenario, and we will be working with the ChatGPT completion model. So it's here. I can just click on it from here, but if you don't see it here, just come to search and type ChatGPT, and it's the OpenAI, this first one. Click on it. When you click on it, you are going to search for create a completion prompt, this particular one. Then click on it. Okay, so now this is what you get once you click on it. I already have a connection here, but I'm going to walk you through how you can create your own connection. So let's assume I didn't have a connection. All I need to do is click on add here, and I give my connection a name, whatever name I choose, but I'll just let this be the way it is. Then you'll notice that there are two variables that are required for you to complete the connection. You need your API key and you need your organization ID. So I'm going to work to get access to this. Start by going to just type OpenAI API. Okay, OpenAI API. Click on that and go to the API platform. Once you are here, you log in. You log into the platform, the API platform. Okay. You can log in with Google depending on how you have signed up. I signed up with my email, so I just use my email and continue we are now in the OpenAI platform. Don't get hung up on all this. It can look quite daunting, but what we need is we need to find the API keys, or where we can create an API key. So what I do, I just come here and type the word settings and enter, and immediately it takes me to brings me to my settings page, and under my organization I have my API keys here. So I also have it under projects, so whichever you choose, just click on it, and this is where you have your API keys. I already have one, the one I'm currently using. This is my API here. So to create a new API, just click on the create new secret key. You give your key a name, give it a name, then you choose a project. If you have any project that you want to assign it to, that's fine. Then you create the key. Once you create the key, a secret key will be generated for you. It's important you note that once you receive or you see a pop-up will come up, you receive the secret key, copy it. Once you copy it, or find somewhere to, because you're going to be using it. Once you close it, you are not going to be able to access it again. So that is how you get your secret key. You take, that's your API, you take that secret key, come back here and paste it here. Okay. Now, after that, you move to where you have organization, click on general. Okay. And under general, you see what is called your organization ID. Just, you will click and copy this and come back here and enter it here. So you have created your organization, you have put in your organization ID and your API key. I want to touch on the pricing of these APIs. So let's go down to, now what ChatGPT offers is, ChatGPT has a lot of models. If we just scroll down, you would see ChatGPT 5, 5 mini, 5 nano, 5 chat latest, and so on and so forth. So if you keep going down, there are several models that you can choose from. So I will just explain what this means so that you will know how much or what it's costing you for every operation that you are doing with ChatGPT. If you were using the ChatGPT 5 model, you have what is called this is your input and this is your output. You are charged $1.25 per 1 million tokens. So this price is, you're charged per 1 million tokens. So any price you see, you know that it's a price of 1 million token. Now, what is a token? A token is, I'll just describe it as a chunk of words. It can be words, it can be part of a word, it can be a character, it can even just be a punctuation. This is the basic or fundamental unit that the model uses in processing data. So it could chunk words together, or it could take part of a word, or it could take a character, or even a punctuation, and that's a token. So essentially, a million token is equivalent to 750,000 words. So now know that this is the price of 1 million tokens, which is an equivalent of about 750,000 words. So when you type in something, you type in a prompt into ChatGPT, and you type in 1 million tokens or 750 words into ChatGPT as your prompt, this is what they're going to charge you. They'll charge you $1.25. When ChatGPT app outputs a response to you, and your response, you have 1 million tokens or 750 words, you're going to be charged $10. So now you need to understand, it's important that you understand some of these models and what use cases they are best suited. I would not advise you to use basic prompting. The basic prompting, the thing, just asking ChatGPT to do just the basic prompting for you. I won't advise you to use any of these models, because as you can see, they are quite expensive. I tend to use more of the 4O mini. Okay, so this is the 4O mini. This is the model that I use, because most times what I'm doing are just your basic prompts. You are telling ChatGPT, oh, I want you to do this for me, and it will give it's just perfect. It does that for you easily. So this is the price of the 4O mini for the input, and this is the price for outputs. So now we have talked about pricing. It's important now I show you how you go about it for your models. So next, you click on this billing. Currently, I have a credit balance of $4.87. You can add credit to your balance. I can add credit if I want to add. This I would strongly advise if you have any automation that is currently running or that is going to be running consistently. It's important that you put this to auto recharge so that you don't have a situation where you have an automation that's currently running and you don't have credit anymore and your automation fails. So if you have that, if you have any automation that is running and you need it to keep running, I would advise you to enable this. I'm not enabling this because I don't have any current automation that is running consistently. So this is where you're going to make your payment. You can add payment methods. So you add a payment method and just credit your account. So having said that, when you're done, you have put your API key, you have put your organization ID, you save it. And that is how you create your connection to ChatGPT. Now, I'll just walk you through some of the variables that you need for this model to work. We are creating a completion. We just leave this as it is. For the model, we have touched on the models, and I told you that for most of the things that I do, for most of the automations that I do, I like to use the 4O mini or the O4 mini, sorry. So this is the one that I like to use, and that's the one that costs about 15 cents for input and 60 cents for output. So I will click on that. And once I click on it, I come to the part where I can now give it my prompts. I do that by clicking on the add messages here. Now, when you click on the add messages here, the first thing you're going to see is the role. This role of a thing is quite confusing for a lot of people, but I'll try to explain it to the best of my ability and hopefully it makes sense to you. So the first role is the user role, and the user role essentially is it represents the questions, your prompts, your normal prompts that you give to ChatGPT or your commands that you will give to ChatGPT. And it contains all the instructions and the requests that you want ChatGPT to do for you. So it's just like when you go to ChatGPT and you give it an instruction, that's a user role. So this is actually quite easy to understand. It's not complex. The next one, so if I put in the user role, I can just say create me a 3-day meal plan, and that's about it. Okay, this is I've given it a prompt, the user prompt, and I can just leave everything as it is. For the max completion token, this just represents so you use it to kind of limit if you want to limit the number of tokens that the model or ChatGPT would utilize. You can come here and put 1,000, put whatever number that you want. But this particular model, O4 Mini, is quite cheap. So I tend to just leave it the way it is, except maybe there's any specific reason why I want to change this, then I will change it. Then I save it. Okay. So now let's run it. We would see how that would run and the results that we'll get from it. So I gave it, remember I gave it a prompt, a user prompt asking it to create a 3-day meal plan for me. So just wait a bit. Okay, now it's done. ChatGPT is done, and we can see from this here. Here we have our inputs. This is the model that we used, and this, when you click on these messages and click on this, you would see the message that I gave it. The role is a user role, and you see the message that I gave it. Now, when you come down here, you're going to have what is called the output. When you click on the results of the output, here you can then see the result of the output that ChatGPT gave you. I asked it for a 3-day meal plan, and this is what ChatGPT gave me as my output. So you see how this is just the basic. The user role is just the basic user prompting ChatGPT to give you an output. That's essentially what the user role. The next role we'll be looking at is the developer role. Okay, so this is our ChatGPT model that we have been using. We open it up and we come down to the role. Okay, so we've touched on the user role. Next, we'll be touching on the developer role. We'll come back to the assistant. So here you have the developer slash system. System used to be the old name. ChatGPT recently changed the name from system to developer. That's why you have the developer slash system here. Is a role. So what you use the developer role essentially is this is where you set the core instructions that you want ChatGPT to follow in your conversations. So instructions like the tone, the behavior, the formatting, the context. This is where you give ChatGPT the instructions that you want it to follow. There are two basic things that you should be aware of about this developer role. First is that ChatGPT will prioritize the messages of the developer role over that of the user role. Let me explain. So assuming you have two roles that you gave ChatGPT, you gave it the developer role and you gave it the user role. Now, in the user role, let's use our 3-day meal plan, for example. I told it to create a meal plan for me and include eggs every day in my role, in my plan. Then I now create a developer role and I say to it, these are the instructions I want you to follow in creating my meal plan. Do not add eggs to my meal plan. What is going to happen is that even though I have an instruction, the user role, saying include eggs every day in my meal plan, because there's a developer role, which is the core instructions that ChatGPT will follow, saying do not add eggs to my meal plan, ChatGPT will prioritize the messages or the instructions of the developer role over that of the user role. One thing to note about the developer role is that your messages or your instructions that you give the developer will persist throughout the entire conversation. So you don't have to worry too much, or you don't have to worry yourself about repeating your instructions to ChatGPT, as long as you have given it that instruction in the developer role. What do I mean by that? You are having a conversation with ChatGPT, and you've already told it, do not include eggs in my meal plan. Then as the conversation goes, it will make sure that that instruction you've given it is going to persist throughout the entire conversation, so that you don't have to repeat yourself and say, oh, every time you keep putting do not add eggs to my meal plan. So it persists throughout the entire conversation. Let's now look at a simple demonstration of what I just explained. So here we have our ChatGPT model. I had created this as my user role. I want to create a developer role. So what I do is I scroll down a bit and add message. Here is now where I can add developer role. I take the drop down and select the developer role. Then for the context, like I said, okay, here I had the user role originally, and let's just add a little bit of, I said, create me a 3-day meal plan and add eggs to every day's meal. Okay, then I come back here to the developer role, and the instruction that I'm giving it is do not add eggs to my meal plan. Then drag this developer system role up above the user role just by holding on to this and dragging it up. So it comes first before the user role. I do this just to arrange my work properly. So now I've given it this instruction. The developer role, the instruction is do not add eggs to my meal plan. My user role, I said create me a 3-day meal plan and add eggs to every day's meal. Okay, so now I save it as usual, then I run it, and let's just wait a bit to see what the output will be. Now,
it has given us its output. So remember, this is the inputs and these are the messages that we give it. The system rule or developer rule, I said do not add eggs to my meal plan. And in the user rule, I said create me a 3-day meal plan and add eggs to every day's meal. Let's see what the output of this will be. So let's come down here to the results of the output and open it. And if we can just quickly read through this, skim through this and see if there are any eggs, you would notice that it did not add any eggs to my meal plan, even though I had specifically asked it to add eggs to my meal plan every day. It took out, made sure that it did not add any eggs because I had given it that instruction in the system or developer role. The system or developer role is where you set the instructions that you want ChatGPT to follow. And like I said, one, it will prioritize it over the user role, and two, that instruction will persist throughout the entire conversation.
Okay, so let's talk about assistant now. So for the assistant role, what that essentially does for you is that it allows you engage with ChatGPT conversationally. So unlike the user role where you are the one giving it instructions and ChatGPT is just responding to what you ask it to do, the assistant role is ChatGPT engaging with you like in a conversation, just like you will go to the platform of ChatGPT and tell it to maybe give you, with our example, give me a 3-day plan, and I want you to ask me questions or, to get better context of what I'm trying to do. Then ChatGPT now responds and asks you questions, and you respond. So both of you and ChatGPT are engaging in a conversation. So that's what this assistant role does for you essentially. Then finally, the tools role. The tools roles they offer you an extension outside of ChatGPT. So say it allows you to get other capabilities that ChatGPT has not been trained by or has not been trained with. So if we just click on the tools role, you'd see what it says here. It says the return of the function. This role should only be used when you have processed a previous function call and want to send the output of the function execution back to the AI. So you've already processed a previous function, maybe with another model, and you want to take that function call and give it to ChatGPT in order for it to use it in processing whatever it is that you want it to do. That is when you use the tools role. So, having said that, I think this brings me to the end of the different roles that are available to you in ChatGPT. You have the user role, you have the developer and system role, you have the assistant role, and finally the tools role.